Man, this is intimidating. All I ever wanted to be was an accountant. Thank you, Lord. I'd like to start off with some thank yous. First of all, I'd like to thank J.D. Power and Associates for this recognition. And I know it doesn't come from them, it comes from our customers, but I think it's really important that an independent institution performs these surveys and educates consumers. Secondly, I'd like to thank the City of Warren and Chief of Police Ray Zadonic for their assistance in making this block available. I'd like to thank our marketing department for planning the entire event. I don't think they missed a thing. Wow, what a great job. Thank you. Also, our facilities department for their hard work on the setup. And given that this is a week we traditionally remember the sacrifices of our soldiers and sailors, it is fitting that we thank those with us today who have faithfully served in the military. And most importantly, a tremendous thank you to all of you in the black and white shirts for making this thing happen. Thank you very much. I have to admit, I'm a little bit disappointed standing here as I look up at the sky, not with the weather, but a couple of weeks ago I got a call from the marketing department and they said, listen, we think we can get the Blue Angels to do a flyby for your celebration. And if you're a kid like me growing up in the 60s, your lifelong dream was to fly with the Blue Angels or even see the Blue Angels. But unfortunately, they called last week and they said, I don't know if you saw the news, but the Blue Angels have been grounded for inappropriate behavior and flying too low. And I said, wow, that really is disappointing. I was looking forward to it. They said, but you know what? We found an alternate. We can get Hell's Angels instead. And I thought about it for a minute and I said, you know, I just don't think that's the same. That doesn't work. But the marketing department never gives up. And they said, you sure you don't want to think about it for a while? We think we can get them to wear black shirts. So we passed on that. Whenever something like this happens, I have to step back and ask myself, why did we win this award? This time around, I took a quick look, as I often do, at our strategic plan, and also thought about my experiences and observations regarding Northwest. From that, I came up with these things that I believe led to this recognition. First, I see offices that are warm and inviting, a place where our customers feel welcome, comfortable, and appreciated. I see professionals who are dedicated, driven, and loyal to Northwest and its customers, people who are willing to go the extra mile. I see a corporate support staff in these two buildings that we have beside us and out at the processing center north of town. My pages are blowing around. That is customer-focused and highly attentive to the needs of our offices and their customers. I see a call center staff in Erie that provides a quality customer experience that complements the customer experience in our offices. I see personnel who don't rest on their laurels. They strive to get better every day. I see employees who are deeply ingrained in their communities, who touch all aspects of civic and social service and add significantly to the quality of life in their hometowns. I see lenders who make every effort to find a way to make a loan, regardless of a customer's economic or social status, race, color, or creed, all the while embracing a culture that under no circumstances should a loan be made that is beyond an individual's ability to pay. I see a staff that recognizes this basic premise. When a customer has a problem, it is our problem, and it has to be resolved. Our people intimately understand that there is no greater threat to our reputation than a dissatisfied customer. In this regard, I'm proud to note that Northwest is the #1 bank in the country in problem resolution, and that we lead all other banks by quite a large margin. Finally, I see professionals that recognize that they are first and foremost bankers. They understand that our community banking industry is the backbone of the financial system in our country, that we have an important role to play so that they think and act like bankers. If you have any questions regarding that, I got a note, coincidentally, from a Clarion customer just last week. And I had to laugh because the note is on this piece of paper, and maybe a lot of you wouldn't recognize it's an index card. So I'm assuming this wasn't one of our younger customers. But regardless, the note really rings true. It says, "Dear Mr. Wagner, congratulations. Your bank in Clarion has the best dressed people of any bank in Clarion, and I think we have several of them, 7 of them." And then a double underscore, the last 4 words read, "They look like bankers." This is what we used to make speeches before we had a PowerPoint, PCs, and teleprompters. Life was much easier, but in the wind today it might be kind of tough. Steve did a great job of highlighting the importance of today's award, so I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity to address over 700 of my fellow employees and focus on the significance of the headlines of the past 30 months. What I would encourage you to do is clap throughout this, because these are the recognition that we've all received, and you're responsible for it. I'd love to hear the applause. And I think, even if you want to hoop and holler, that'll work for me. Just get it out of the way before the bikers show up. Let's start in 2009. Early in 2009, the headlines read, "Forbes recognized Northwest as one of America's 100 most trustworthy companies." You're very good at that. Later that year, we saw another headline. Northwest completes a $688 million common stock offering despite unfavorable market conditions. Early in 2010, we were honored with the headlines that stated, J.D. Power recognizes Northwest as a #1 bank in the Mid-Atlantic region for customer satisfaction. I don't know who was responsible for the storm that went through at 8:30 and blew away the hot air, but if they could do something about the wind, it would certainly be helpful. Later in 2010, the headlines read, "Forbes recognizes Northwest as America's 23rd strongest bank." And I have to tell you, that's out of a universe of 8,000 banks. Then we got to 2011, and the first headline we saw said, "Forbes recognized Northwest as America's 23rd strongest bank once again." A little later in the year came a new recognition. Keith Ruyett and Woods names Northwest to its top 40 honor roll for superior operating performance over the past 10 years. And last but certainly not least, the reason that we're here today are for the headlines. J.D. Power again recognizes Northwest as the #1 bank in the Mid-Atlantic region for customer satisfaction. I don't know that I can adequately communicate just how important that series of awards is. But I will say this, to receive national recognition in just one of these categories is quite an honor. However, an institution like us can simply just focus on one area, try to get really good at that, and let other areas deteriorate. However, to be able to balance the competing challenges of customer service, community support, customer loyalty, and employee satisfaction all at the same time and receive recognition for all of these areas is a tremendous achievement. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for the applause, because then I can change my pages. In closing, I'd like to express how proud I am of our organization and how proud I am to be associated with all of you. With that, I'd like to leave you with the 5 words I often include in notes I send to employees who have reached a milestone in their career or who have received some type of professional recognition or have been commended for providing exceptional customer service. Keep up the good work.